So today, we have a wonderful day for Mike and Russell, who has come and asked to be married in this church on this day. And so I took an opportunity and said, love is what this church is all about. And I said, the best gospel reading that could ever be read is John, where it says, love one another as I have loved you. It's how we are to love our relatives. It's how we are to love our friends. It's how we are to love the strangers around us. And it's especially how we are to love our partners. You have to love as only God could love. To truly, truly love someone is to do whatever it takes to show them how much you care. And you see, for us, God did that when he came down and took human form as Jesus. He showed us exactly how far God was willing to go to express that love. So far that he would belittle himself and hang on a cross. It's astonishing to me that I could have a God that would ever dare fathom such a concept, let alone do it. So that is the only way to love. I'm not saying go out and hang yourself on a cross. Please don't do that. Don't do it. Jesus already did that. But we have to recognize what it took to get there. So stepping out against all odds as a couple, like most couples do, because there's probably not a whole lot of couples in this world that go out with a whole blessing from a mom and dad, right? Or from a family. Even, straight couples, gay couples, it doesn't matter. Somebody don't like it, right? So it takes courage to stand up in front of people and say, I love this person enough that I'm going to make a statement. And I'm going to sign a paper. And you see, we often think that it's just for the couple. It really doesn't have to do a whole lot with the couple. It has to do with the community. Because what it does for a community is show that there are people in this world willing to take their own life in their hand for another person. Because that's what we do. When we sign that paper, we take somebody else's life on with ours. You are no longer just one person. You are now two forever. It's not something to be entered in lightly. It's probably the most serious thing I'll ever talk about. But we are supposed to do that same kind of love for every single person in this room. For every single person we run into. Let's look at our second reading. It tells us exactly what we are supposed to do. Clothe yourself with heartfelt compassion, with kindness, humility, gentleness, and patience. Bearing with one another, forgive whatever grievance you have against one another. Forgive in the same way God has forgiven you. Above all else, put on love, which binds the rest together. Love is that thing that encircles the kindness, the compassion, the humility that we hate to admit to, the gentleness and the patience. You've got to be humble in love. That doesn't mean you have to let him walk all over you, right? There are times when you just have to agree to disagree. And you have to be the first one to say it. Now, Travis will test that I don't back down lightly. Okay? Because when I'm serious about something, I'm serious about something. But, there are times when I say, we're going to have to revisit this. Because I love him enough to not piss each other off just for the sake of it. That's what we like to do. We love to piss each other off. We love, as we call it, push the buttons. Right? I know every one of my mother's buttons. I know where they are, even on her body. And I can push them all at one time if I so choose. But am I being a good Christian, a good son, a good human being if I do so? No. I have to come at it with compassion and with kindness, humility, gentleness, and patience. It's hard to do. It's hard to say I'm going to give up what the world has taught me to be. And it's funny because I went off this summer to go do some training for Teachers Union. And I went in there thinking that I was a badass dude. Because I can hold my own with just about anybody. And I always thought I did that just with knowledge and kind of knowing that I'm right. That's how I thought I did it. But when I walked away from that training was that I actually approach it the same way I approach my ministry. That I was kind to them. Boy, did that freak them out. To be on the other side of a negotiation table in a union and being nice. And not like fake nice. You know that fake nice? Oh, bless his heart. No, not that fake nice. Like, I was nice. Like, hi, I'm so happy to meet you. And I was genuine, They were cool people. They freaked them out. I was gentle. When we got into arguments, I said, we just need to breathe. Take time, let's just breathe. We're getting too huffy-puffy. I don't understand why we all huffy-puffy. We were acting, y'all. But yet they were huffy-puffy, But I realized that the reason I get things done is because I often can pull back. And I can think of it in a different way if I have to. Now, it doesn't often happen at home. I don't have to be as nice at home. He gets to forgive me a little bit more. At home is where I can be really mean. And I get to let out things, and sometimes it's not really directed at him, it just probably feels that way. But it's those kind of things. And that's the kind of love, though, that's a little bit different with your partner as with, people, the stranger that you meet. You get to be a little bit more in each other's face because you learn how each other ticks and what each other needs. We find that with friends sometimes. Oh, Miss Ann and I. We've had some stories. Whew. But I know she can't get quite as personal as she can get with her husband or me with mine. But boy, do we take that home and give it to them and then come back and we can reevaluate it again. So love is this wonderful thing that we have. And that is a free choice. You choose who you want to love. We often say, well, I didn't really have a choice in it. It just, no, you had a choice in it. You really do. The universe called me a long time ago and said I should have married this girl. That I thought I really loved her. Since we were little bitty, I thought I really loved her. And I do, to this day, I still love that girl. Not like I love him. Right? If I would have gone with what I thought, what I was taught was love, I would be okay. I would have had a good life. Would I have had what I have now? Probably not. So we get to choose who we love and who we don't. You know, it's easier though when you look at people you hate. You know you have to love them too, right? Right where they are. If you think you're gonna change them, you're not. How you're gonna feel like you've changed them is by changing yourself. Works in your relationship too, guys. Right? It's you that changes and not your spouse. Now they're changing too on their own, but you're not doing it. You're doing it together. That's why we come to church. We come to church as a community to love together, to grow together, to remind each other to love one another. And we come every week to renew that within us. So I'm glad that this is coming together today, that we're going to celebrate this love, this ongoing love, because it's been going on for over 30-something years. They're just finally ready to go out for it, and the law is finally right there behind them. Yay! So it's going to be a great celebration, and remember, love always, hate never. If you love first, it all kind of falls into place for you. Be gentle, compassionate, showing kindness, but above all else, wrap it in love. Amen.